Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Central Oregon. My name is Amy Brock, and I'm the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth, but today I get to be your worship leader along with Noreen Halverstadt from our worship team. Today's service is a little bit different. Our young people are always welcome to stay with their grown-ups, but a few times throughout the year, we intentionally plan for them to stay here with us. So today is one of those days. And this is a really important part of our faith formation because we have kids that sometimes grow up and they become youth, and then they grow up and they try to connect with their Unitarian Universalist heritage, and youth group is really different than what we do here in this space. So we try to have a few times throughout the year where we can all be together and we can all experience worship in different ways so that when our kids grow up, they're still able to connect with that instead of having a completely different experience that feels really different when that happens. So that's why we do that. Our children's covenant ends with the words, "In this place, I am loved." And if no one has told you today that they love you, I love you. We love you, and we're so glad that you're here with us today. And I think we have some announcements to share with you about some fun things that are coming up around here. So Chayla's going to share those with you, and then we will explore together today.
Good morning. I'm Chayla Sloper, the Congregational Life Facilitator, and I extend a very warm welcome to those especially who are visiting here for the first or maybe even the second time. And I also always welcome those who are on Zoom, so thank you for joining us even across the miles. I do want to let you know that today after the service, we have a newcomer's welcome, and this means that if you're newer to the congregation or just being around Unitarian Universalists, and you might have questions about what is this? Join me in the conference room, not in the library today. We'll be meeting in the conference room. Normally, Reverend Scott joins me in doing this, or rather, I join him, but he's on retreat this weekend. And so anyway, you're welcome to join me after the service. Grab your coffee or whatever beverage quenches your thirst, and I'll see you in the conference room. So maybe about 11:15 or 11:30. So related to that, the Connections team is a group within the congregation that makes a point of welcoming those who are visiting us on Sunday. And I'm recruiting new people for the Connections team. There is a sign up at the kiosk, and we'll be having a meeting just to sort of get our bearings on March 23rd. So that's a Sunday. So a couple weeks ago, we saw a video from our to-be partner church, or maybe they are our partner church already in the Philippines, and they had made an amateur but quite fetching video of what they do there. And we're looking for somebody who can do the same here. We're not looking for Hollywood quality. We just, if you make any videos yourself, iMovie or anything else, contact Leora Mock, our operations director, and we just want just a simple video that we could send to them and say, this is who our congregation is. So next weekend, we have some very important opportunities that are available for our growth and deepening in our connection with the community. On Saturday, there is a Defend Your Rights workshop, which is being sponsored, led by our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion group. That's Saturday morning from 9 till noon. On Sunday, the UUFCO Environmental Justice Team has a different kind of workshop. It's an Interfaith Earth Summit. The Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon, which tries to organize activities with a lot of different faith communities, is organizing this, and it's going to be here from 1 till 4. There's information about that in your skyline today, and also the registration email. What's particularly interesting is that they're going to be talking about some actions that we could take locally and at the state level that are faithful action for climate safety and health. And then we're also hoping to find some ways, particularly for the city of Bend, that they can adopt some of these environmental friendly policies. On the weekend of the 21st and 22nd, Our women's gathering, our spring women's gathering, Shine Your Light, is going to be happening. It's a Friday night and all day Saturday. And we trust that when you invest more time, you'll get a return on your investment, and there'll be benefits galore. So Laura Pitney, who's organizing this gathering with some help of other members and friends, is going to be in the gathering hall. So please talk with her about that. Then I just want to say that the following week we're going to have an evening and a daytime UU chat with Reverend Scott and me. So lots going on as always. We have almost ended our annual pledge campaign, and Mark Hickman has some comments about that, but as always, blessings on your day.
Good morning. I'm Mark Hickman, treasurer of the board. First, I wanted to give you an update and a thanks. The pledge drive at this point has $475,000 in pledges from 200 of you, so thank you to everybody. And at this point, there's still 100 of you we haven't heard from, and about a $65,000 remaining gap between what we hope to hear in pledges, the $540,000 goal, and where we're at. So it's my job to prepare a budget and submit it to the board in 5.5 weeks. And I want to tell you two things. One is this budget actually matters. It's not a theoretical exercise. There's a lot of stuff we do where if we can't count on the money, we just aren't going to start it. We're not going to make it happen. In particular, for staffing positions, we don't hire people if we don't think we can pay them for the year. So that difference of $65,000 between where we're at and where we want to be, it's going to have a lot to do with who we can bring on payroll and what we can do next year. So it really matters. It might sound like a small amount, but it really matters. And secondly, and related, the 100 who are left, it's not our biggest pledgers. You're people who might wonder, is my $300 or $400 or $500 pledge going to matter? Can't I just send money? Does it really matter? Yeah, it matters, because with 100 people, these all add up. And when we can count on the money for next year, we're going to be able to plan on and execute doing things that we all care about. So please understand that even though it's not a gift of money now, it helps us do things next year that we all want to see done. So thank you in advance. Hopefully we won't have to give you a phone call unless you really want it, and then we'll do it. So thank you much.
We are moving some things around today, so you might find things in different places than they might normally be. So at this time, I'm going to invite our young people or young at heart to find their way to the rug. And we may need some young at heart to join us today, because I am going to need some help with the time for all ages in a little bit. But while they're coming, I have one more announcement to share with you. Me and the RE team are sponsoring an event called Mystery Makers. So Mystery Makers is an activity where you get to put down something that you want to learn about and something that you could teach. The sign-up sheet is in the ACE, or there's a QR code outside of the RE space. And the idea is that we will gather people that have shared interests, and we'll create small events that fit with people's schedules better, so that you can make new friends when you get there, and it will be super fun. So if you have not signed up yet, I know that we have some people who have signed up that are very excited to make new friends, and we want you to join us. So that's coming up. We'll probably start grouping people before spring break, ideally. So if you're thinking about it and you haven't done it yet, go ahead and do that. And now we'll light our chalice. Does somebody want to come and light you want to come and light the chalice? Okay. We have a chalice lighter. Come on up. Who's going to light our chalice today? And then we are going to say our chalice lighting words that we say every week when we come together in RE. So our grown-ups might not know the words, so you might have to say them really loud so that they can hear them, okay? We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the loving heart. This is the church of helping hands. Together we care for ourselves and everyone on earth. It is so good to be with you today. All right, I'm going to tell the story from here, but before I tell the story, we have to sing our chalice response song, and Joel is going to guide us in that.
I forgot, do we have everybody stand with us?
Everybody, please rise.
Rise in body or spirit. Okay, ready?
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I need 3 people to help me tell the story this morning. I need somebody who wants to be a starfish. Does somebody want to be the starfish? Come on, little starfish. I need somebody who wants to be an octopus. Who wants to be an octopus? Somebody wants to be an octopus. I'm going to be the octopus. Okay, Jackson's going to be the octopus. I need another starfish. So if you've ever wanted to be a starfish, now is your chance. And then I need somebody to be a gecko. You'll be the gecko, okay? Hugo, you're going to start over here in the ocean, and then our octopus is going to be here with our big stone, and then you're going to go to your house over here. Oh, and then you guys don't need these. Now we are ready. Our story today is about commitment, about making promises to each other. So in our story, we have a starfish whose name is Hugo. We have an octopus whose name is Cedo. And we have a gecko whose name is Gecko. All right. So I'm going to tell this story, and we'll have different things that I'll invite you to do as I tell it. And I'm going to talk about some things that the characters do, so when I talk about them, you can pretend to do them if you'd like to. Are you ready? Okay, all right. One morning, on his journey to the real world, a starfish named Hugo woke up early. Can we all yawn? Ah, so early, yeah. Hugo had been on a journey to find the real world, but this morning, his friends wanted to sleep later. So Hugo set off by himself. He swam and he swam and he swam. Can we swim? Let's swim together. He swam and he swam and he swam, and it wasn't long before he saw the signs of land. The seabed rose and the water became more shallow. And then something shiny caught Hugo's eye. It was a white rock with an arrow on it. And this could only mean one thing. Do you see a white rock? There it is. There it is, right there. All right. This could only mean one thing. There must be a detour on the journey to find the real world. The starfish swam in the direction of an arrow until he arrived at a huge coral reef. The reef was brown and wiggly. Can we wave our coral reefs? You can wave yours too out there. You can wave your arms. Yeah. Hugo didn't know which way to go. He looked left and he looked right. And then all of a sudden he saw a strange light. He followed the light until he saw something that made him smile. "Hello," he said. "I'm an octopus. My name is Sea-Doo." Sea-Doo held a long stick with a light at the end. "This is my magic wand," he said. "Well, it's supposed to be magical, but I'm still learning how to use it." "Oh," said Hugo. "Do you think you could help me get to where I'm going? I'm looking for the real world." "The real world?" asked Sea-Doo. "I would like to go, but I'm still learning how to use my magic wand." "Well," said Hugo, "if you could get me to the next island, I guess I could come back and pick you up." "I think I could do that," said Sea-Doo. And poof, with a flick of his wand, he sent Hugo going all the way over to the next island. So Hugo swam all the way over to the next island. Hugo crawled onto the reef, onto the sand, and then he saw a house, and he knocked on the door. And there was a friendly gecko. "Hello," said the gecko. "My name is Gecko." "I'm so tired," said Hugo. "Could I take a nap at your house?" "Of course," said the gecko. "I always have room for travelers." So Hugo took a nap, and then, when he was rested, he set off on his journey to the real world again. He ran down to the beach, and he jumped in the water, but then his fin got stuck. He couldn't move. He tried walking backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and he wasn't going anywhere. "Help!" yelled Hugo. And soon he heard a sound. The gecko was speeding toward him. Said the gecko as he approached. "I see, that is a problem," he said. "Welcome to the island of commitment. Commitment means that we always keep our promises. It's easy to say things that we don't mean. It's hard to say things and then really do it. You must have made a promise that you didn't keep," said the gecko. "Until you fulfill it, the island of commitment will keep you here." I didn't promise anything," Hugo said. But then he remembered. Did he make a promise? I think he made a promise. He remembered his promise to Sea-Doo. "Sea-Doo, I'm on my way," he shouted. And as he said that, the ocean let go of him and he swam all the way back to the reef. Sea-Doo was so happy to see him. He was happy that Hugo remembered his promise. And then together, Sea-Doo and Hugo set off to find the real world together. Thank you, friends. All right. So Sea-Doo trusted that Hugo would help him keep his promise. And thank goodness Hugo remembered. He might have been stuck there for a long time. It's important to recognize how special it is when someone trusts us and to try to keep our promises. When we do that, our trust grows and grows and grows. In Unitarian Universalism, we have covenants that we make with each other. A covenant is an agreement that we have so that we know how to take care of each other. It's a kind of trust. Do you guys remember some things that are in our covenant? Can you think of one thing that's in our covenant? I think there's something about animals in there, maybe, caring for our animals, and loving each other, and being together in community, and being truthful. And sometimes we talk about being peaceful in our classroom covenants. But that doesn't mean that we always get along. It means that we try to understand each other and we work things out. Yeah. Well, let's say our children's covenant together. But then before we go, we're going to do another activity. So this is our promise that we make to each other. This is one of the commitments that we make in this space. Let's say it together. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved. At this time, we are going to do our joys and sorrows together. We don't usually do our joys and sorrows together in this space, but the grown-ups do after we leave. So we're going to have a moment to think about things that we're joyful for, and things that maybe we're a little sorrowful for, and things that we're grateful for before we go and play together today. Does anybody have anything that they want to share? Is anybody super joyful about anything? You had something super awesome happen? You got a pet dragon. Oh, a lizard. Very cool. That's an exciting thing. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else happy or even sad that you'd like to share with us? You can also share it with your friend too if you don't want to share it with me. What about something that we're grateful for? I'm grateful to be here with all of you. Looks like one of our friends maybe is grateful for a soft place to rest. And another one of our friends is grateful for bendy Chanel stems to make crafts with down here. It's fun to take a moment to think about the things that we're joyful for. And it's good to have a place to share the things that bring us sorrow sometimes. And having a practice of gratitude helps us feel good. So thank you for sharing that with me. We are going to learn a song together, I think. We're going to do From You I Receive. Can we sing it one time together, and then we'll have our friends leave and go to RE? Okay. Yeah, so we'll sing it once and then sing it a couple times as they leave.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. To you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Raise your eyes up, let's form an arch. I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Howard, and I'm a member of our pastoral care team. And our pastoral care team extends the joys and sorrows and gratitudes time for the grown-ups when our minister isn't speaking. Otherwise, he takes care of that. If you want to know more about the pastoral care team, there's information on our kiosk, and we work with our minister to really extend the love and connection and caring that we all create together. That keeps us healthy and emotionally strong in times of struggle, in times of joy. And so that's our living committee for joys, sorrows, and gratitudes. And we also have this practice for reading and receiving these thoughts aloud. Now, many of us also carry these in our hearts. So as I'm reading the ones that are submitted through either the web, for those that are on Zoom, or in person, there are forms on the kiosk. For those of you that would like to light a candle on the side of the sanctuary, feel free to do that. And we'll certainly understand and include your quiet sharing and thoughts with us. So the first one is a sorrow from Alice Elshoff. And she's sharing that Nancy Connor, a member of our congregation, died 2 nights ago. So that's new information for me. So we'll just, probably it's just fresh, and we'll all find out more a little bit about how we can honor her life. Chris, yeah, last name. Patrick, right. Sorry, blank there. So grateful Flora's procedure was textbook perfect. I love you. Ann Wyman, enjoy the beautiful flowers here today are in loving remembrance of Ann's beautiful mother, Coralie, and Coralie's birthday. And Anne could not be with us today, but a wonderful friend delivered them. And then there's a beautiful picture of Coralie in the Linus Pauling Gallery for you to see her. This person identifies themselves as AD. And it's a joy. I'm so very grateful for the strengths and struggles in life, for they give me the inner strength and wisdom. Sorrow, I need prayers for my daughter, who is suffering from 5 years of a chronic health condition. It's bulimia. I pray for her health and all others suffering from this illness. May they all find healing and self-love. And from Dick Matthias, a joy for a dear friend, Matt, who's visiting from Indiana. Well, welcome, Matt. Carol Carlson shares, I was so happy to see the turnout for the conference about homelessness in Central Oregon. Congratulations to Ginny McKee and Barbara Belzer. And then Barbara Belzer and Ginny McKee share, they feel such joy and gratitude for all the support the UUFCO family gave to the forum, understanding homelessness in Central Oregon, both by volunteering and attendance. It was so great to see so many friendly faces. And then this was submitted a little while ago, but maybe it wasn't read, by Ben Morgan. March 5th is a special day for me for 2 reasons. First, it's my mom's birthday. She was born in 1919. And second, the day my forever life partner, Cheryl, and I were married. Outside under the pine trees in Everglades National Park in 1988. An uninvited alligator came out of a nearby pond to watch the ceremony. It was a wonderful double party for all. Sadly, they are both gone, Mom at 89 and Cheryl far too young at 63. But I'm so grateful to have had the company of such wonderful women in my life. So may we all just hold these remembrances, these sorrows, and these gratitudes in our hearts. And we just bless them all. Thank you.
Let's come together for a minute of silent meditation. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable. And I will ring the bell to start and ring the bell to close. This time, I think we will receive our offering, and we get to hear a song from our house band while we do that.
So I was a part of a discussion group. I was a part of a discussion group that said, when you bring a secular song, a non-religious song or hymn, into a sacred space, does that song become sacred? I'll let you just sit with that.
Have a little bit of faith, I say, have a little bit of faith, my friend. We gotta help each other through the thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. Little faith, I say, have a little faith, my friend. We got trouble everywhere around the world. It's not a safe place to be for a woman, man, boy, or girl. And everywhere you turn, there's destruction and pain. You get a mouthful of promises and a hat full of rain. So have a little faith, I say, have a little bit of faith, my friend. We gotta help each other through the thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. We got a little faith, I say, have a little faith, my friend. There's evil all around us, we got to rise above. We gotta fight the good fight with that war with love. Hold on, help is on the way. There's a better tomorrow, I can feel it today. Have a little faith, I say, have a little bit of faith, my friend. We gotta help each other through the thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. Have a little faith, I say, have a little faith, my friend.
Have a little bit of faith.
Have a little bit of faith.
Just a little bit of faith.
Just a little bit of faith.
Have a little bit of faith.
Have a little bit of faith. Have a little bit of faith, I say. Have a little bit of faith, my friend. We gotta help each other through the thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. Have a little faith, I say. Have a little bit of faith, my friend.
A little bit of faith, I say. Have a little bit of faith, my friend. Have a little bit of faith, I say. Have a little bit of faith. Have a little bit of faith, I say. Have a little bit of faith, I say.
Have a little bit of faith.
Have a little bit of faith.
Have a little bit of faith.
Just a
Side
little
of
bit
a
of
mustard seed.
faith.
Have a little bit of faith.
Just a little bit of faith.
Thank you. Today, we're exploring how the value of love, that's at the center of our agreed upon values as Unitarian Universalists, and our monthly theme of trust shape our relationships, communities, and the way that we see the world. Because fact-checking is important, To begin with, I thought we could look at some definitions of what love and trust mean, and I looked them up using Google's English Dictionary, which gets their information from Oxford Languages. And they have a really cool explanation on there that says that they intentionally use language from real-life examples. So I think it's kind of neat to have that to help think about things in different ways. It says that the definition of love is an intense feeling of deep affection. And then it says, for example, babies fill their parents with feelings of love. Aw, like, isn't that sweet that just by existing, babies can fill their parents with love? I think that's incredible. And then when we think about how trust connects with love, I think out of anybody, babies probably understand more about trust than a lot of us. They could probably teach us some things because they rely on their grown-ups to take care of literally everything for them. The definition of trust, according to the Google Dictionary, is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. It says relations have to be built on trust. Okay, so love can just kind of exist, but here we learn that trust is a little bit more complicated. It doesn't just happen, it has to be created. And it kind of hinges on something that is stable or predictable. And I think it's interesting that it says relationships have to be built on trust, and not just good or healthy relationships, like all relationships have to be built on trust. I just think that's interesting. But then there was a second definition with love. It said to have a great interest or pleasure in something. And then it said, such as his love for football. So love is something that babies inherently give their parents, and it's also his love, a guy's love, for football. I have some questions about the limitations that they place on love here. But the football thing reminded me of a satirical video that I watched in a Bible class in undergraduate school, where they had people dress up like Bible characters but act out modern day scenes. And in one of them, a guy almost gets kicked out of the church because he went to the Super Bowl, and so he's pardoning himself with Jesus, and he's like, but I had tickets to the Super Bowl. It was the Super Bowl. It was so important. And Jesus is like, huh, and he thinks about it for a minute, and then he's like, well, I guess you can be a Christian if you promise to burn all of your footballs and never, ever miss church again. And the guy kind of smiles, and he says, oh boy. You can't tell whether he's grateful and excited about that or kind of sad, maybe both. But the point of the video is that being spiritual or having faith doesn't mean that people have to give up things that they love. So we could say that while some people might say that God is love, other people might say that love is football. And as Unitarian Universalists, we would say that we need not think alike to love alike. Needing to not think alike to love alike is a phrase that is sometimes attributed to a 16th century Transylvanian Unitarian. But it's also thought to have probably have been said by John Wesley, who is the founder of the Methodist Church. We don't know. Regardless of where it comes from, though, this phrase has become an important piece in Unitarian Universalist theology. We need not think alike to love alike is one of those predictable and reliable teachings in which we place our trust when we come together here as Unitarian Universalists. This is how we're able to be a pluralistic faith with varied experiences and beliefs about God and spirituality. Last week, while I was building Lego creations with our younger ones, one of them said, what does it mean to be religious anyway? Another one said, yeah, are we religious? And another kid said, I don't believe in God, so I'm definitely not religious. This conversation really happened. Noreen was there. It did. And it's one of my favorite parts about being a Unitarian Universalist religious educator. We get to create lessons around monthly themes that are good, and we get to create spaces to talk about the things that are important to us. And we also build a community where we're free to wonder and ask questions about all of the things. And so last week we talked about how religious means different things to different people, but that this is a religious place, and how that just by being here and exploring together, we are religious people. kind of like how love just exists between a baby and their grown-ups. But I think we could all agree that while love is a great caregiving foundation to have between infants and their grown-ups, if nothing else becomes of that relationship, if we're not able to change how we relate to children as they grow, then we would get to miss out on so many beautiful things, because kids need different things at birth than they do when they're 5. And they need different things at 5 than they do when they're 10. They need different things when they're 10 than they do at 15, and so on and so forth. And so we have to kind of be flexible about that. And sometimes that growth can be uncomfortable as children push against our recommendations and do things that terrify us. And as they're grown-ups, we're supposed to keep them safe. Growth can be uncomfortable for religious people too. Last summer, after several years of recommendations and revisions, Unitarian Universalists voted to replace what had been known as our principles and sources with 7 shared values on which to place the foundations of our future religious teachings. More importantly, love was placed at the center as the touchstone element for how we will engage with those other 6 values. And some people really didn't like this. A lot of you that grew up learning about old principles and sources were worried that the things that had become so important to them would go away. And a lot of people who work with young people today argued that the new values were more expansive. They included those things, but they also made it easier to teach and to remember, because we never really talked much about the sources anyway. But most importantly, by putting love at the center, it would give kids a way to explain what their religion is about in simple words. So the vote was passed, but this change to center love has continued to evolve, with a lot of trust exchanged around what this means and how we do that. It has been said that in Unitarian Universalism, love is the power that holds us together, and that we are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through love. And those are beautiful thoughts, but remember that love doesn't really need us to do anything. It gets to be there as pure and wholesome truth that just is. It can exist as the undercurrent in all things, unseen, but very much still there, returning the water to the waves and maintaining a balance of flow. So love is here, just doing its thing, existing all around us and keeping us balanced. But to make changes and to move things out of that equal, harmonious way of being, we probably need to look at how we can maintain trust with each other. And that can be kind of a hard thing to do, because our safe bubble of love that just exists is so comfortable and it feels great. But just like we must adapt as our children grow, our growth as a community and as Unitarian Universalists is probably going to require some shifts from us as well. If not now, then someday. Reverend Dr. Sherry Pradam, an assistant professor of religion and education at Starr King School for the Ministry, shares that the early Unitarians in the 19th century New England held an understanding of religious life as one of growing the soul toward the likeness of God, whom they understood to be loving. She says they did not suggest that their parishioners should remove themselves from society and live lives of contemplation and prayer, but rather that they unfold the divine likeness within themselves through daily activities of living. And that seems so relevant to where we are today as a faith. So what does this mean? How do we do that? How do we unfold the divine likeness within us? How do we practice faith while living our challenges of being a person? I think that's where we can look at trust to offer us what it has through its predictability, accountability, and stability. Can we stay grounded and connected with each other, rooted in our sacred love, while still acknowledging the challenges that exist in our community and in our world? Can we keep our commitments to showing up and living our covenants when we are with each other? Being a Unitarian Universalist is not really a faith that works very well if you practice it sometimes when you feel like it. And there are different ways to live our faith in the world, but the work that we do here is important too. No, we won't kick you out if you get tickets to the Super Bowl. And we acknowledge that there are important life experiences that we need to have that cause us to miss church sometimes, like ski school and sleepovers with friends. All of those things are important, and we love them. But sometimes we also hear young people saying things like, I don't have any friends at church, when they've only been here a few times throughout the year. Or they say, I don't like any of the activities that they do, when they didn't even try them. So it doesn't really work like that. If trust is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, and strength of someone or something, then I think we already have a lot of trust here. Unitarian Universalism is built on the stability of multi-generational community. This means that there are lots of people in many phases of life, so there's a good chance that someone somewhere can always help with things. We arrive here each week with the truthful intention of exploring themes that help us think about our values and how we want to live those in the world. We have the ability to listen to those with lived experiences that might be different from our own. We can accept the truth that doing things that are different from what we normally do at school or work can be a little cringe, and they still help us learn. There are some ways that we strengthen our trust with each other, and these are just a few of them. A congregation is kind of like both a team and a family. You get out of it what you put into it, and there are always seasons where someone might give more or less, but ideally we all work together. If we break it down, we only get about 40 Sundays together in an RE program a year. So that's less time than we get to spend with our friends at school or work, usually in a week. So it's not much time to get to know each other here. And it's important that when we are here, we show up and we connect and we invest in each other. And it's important that we come together to connect, because the things that we practice here in this space together, sometimes imperfectly, prepare us to live our values outside of this building, in our community, and in our world. So these are just some things, some ideas that I had when I thought about trust and how we might practice that with each other. You might have better ones. You probably do have better ones. We have so many people with so many good ideas here in this space. And our community here has so much inherent love that is that current that holds us, that love that is just there. And I wonder how bringing an intention to the role that trust plays in our Unitarian Universalist relationships might strengthen our connections with each other, might strengthen our connections across our ages, and might strengthen our faith for years to come. Thanks for exploring with me today. I think we have a song that we're going to sing. We're going to sing a song together? Cool, thanks.
Please rise. Though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire, and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess, and striving so my love profess, but not begin by love within, the prophet soon turns strangely thin. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control. Our spirits long to be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are free.
You can sit. Please be seated. I have some words from Martha Nussbaum to share. To be a good human being is to have a kind of openness to the world, an ability to trust uncertain things beyond your own control that can lead you to be shattered in very extreme circumstances for which you are not to blame. That says something very important about the condition of the ethical life that is based on a trust in the uncertain and on a willingness to be exposed. It's based on being more like plant than a jewel, something rather fragile, but whose very particular beauty is inseparable from that fragility.